For today, I like to go with movies yet again. What I like to talk about is my biggest 10 bad guys or ladies who took over a movie. And what I mean by bad guys, I'm not talking about a Chucky or Freddy Krueger. I'm talking about the ones that when you watch that movie, that bad guy or lady is the reason that made you even like the movie, even though they were the bad character in the movie. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with my number 10. I'm going to go with the actress Louise Fletcher, who played Nurse Ratched in the movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975. Anybody who has a little age on them and remembers this movie, they'll remember just how great Jack Nicholson was in this movie as a patient in a mental hospital. And Nurse Ratched, and yes, she was a cruel character. She really abused her title, her job. She was a nurse, as she's called, Nurse Ratched. But she was a bully. She was mean. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, you'll see why she was just so, the name fit, ratchet. She was wretched. She was really a terrible person in that. So I'm going to give her props as my number 10 in this list. My number 9 on this list, I'm going to go with Denzel Washington. And I'm going to go with him playing Troy Matson in the movie called Fences. The movie came out in 2016. It was based off of a play by August Wilson. And Denzel, along with Viola Davis and other great actors, really recreated that play into a movie. But the part of Troy, played by Denzel, he really was a terrible person. You're not used to seeing that when it comes to Denzel characters. He didn't see himself as a terrible person. He just was bitter. He was a bitter man. Didn't get to play professional baseball like he thought he would. He's bringing it up. He has, at this time, as the movie goes on, with two sons, and he does not show love in any type of way towards his loving wife. And as the movie goes on, it just gets worse for Troy. So he was really a bad guy. If you ever saw the movie, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna say that's gonna be my number 9. My number 8, I'm gonna talk about a movie that I believe is very underrated. I'm gonna talk about an actress, and her name is Rosamund Pike, and she played the title character of Marla Grayson in a movie called I Care a Lot. I don't want to try to give away too many spoilers about it, but I'm going to talk about what I saw in the trailer. She was the type of con artist, con man type of person, but she exploited on the elderly. She found people who she thought was left alone, and she would exploit them, have them whisked away into a senior place where she was given guardianship of their money, their homes. She would sell their homes, but she ran across the wrong person. And the actress by the name of Diane Wiest was awesome in this movie. And I just recall, even in the trailer, when she smiled with her squinty eyes and she said to the character, "My son is gonna kill you." And when you watch the movie, you'll see just how interesting that part was. So I'll give that number 8 to Rosamund Pike for that. My number 7 in the bad guy situation. I could have picked more than one character in this movie, and I'm going to go to the movie Django Unchained. To me, it doesn't get any worse than Samuel L. Jackson, who played Steven. This is a slavery time movie. Leonardo DiCaprio played a slave owner by the name of Calvin Candy. The character Steven, no, he just had to have everything to a Calvin Candy. Oh, he was a bootlicker. He was all of the things negative you can say, what you learn about history of slavery. that did not care about their own but only care about the master, that was him. And when you watch Django, you just wanted him to be the one that really got it in the end. So that's the one I'm going with. That one at number 7. My number 6 is I don't think it's very well known, but I'll say this. The name of the movie is called Always Outnumbered, Always Outgunned. And I read the book when the book first came out. This book was written by Walter Mosley. And when I saw that they made it into a movie, Lawrence Fishburne stars as the title character. His name was Socrates Fortlow. Socrates Fortlow was a person who was from Indiana, and in a drug-filled high, he ended up killing some people while he was high. They were all getting high together. He did a lot of time, and once he left prison, he moved to California. And as the movie goes in, they talk about Socrates and the neighborhood that he lived in. It was a gang-filled neighborhood, not so much money in the neighborhood, but Socrates, even though he did what he did and even though he was out, he was basically a good guy. And the neighborhood counted on Socrates Fortlow to keep the neighborhood right. Every time there was a problem in the neighborhood, the young people, the old people, the women, they all came to Socrates Fortlow to make it right. So if you have never heard of it, once again, it is titled Always Outnumbered, Always Outgunned. Lawrence Fishburne is in it. Natalie Cole is in it. Isaiah Washington is in it. Bill Cobb played a great part in this movie. So I suggest you watch that one. Now, I'm saying it as Lawrence Fishburne was a bad guy because of his past, but it just showed that he could be just as good. My number 5, I'm going to go all the way back to 1970 to a movie called Cotton Comes to Harlem. The actor that I'm speaking about is named Calvin Lockhart, and he played a character titled Reverend Deke O'Malley. There at a time was a couple of movies that had these detectives in it. One was named Ed Coffin and his last name, and the other one was called Grave Digger. They had more than one movie. And they were detectives, and they ran across this reverend who was basically a con man that was scheming, and he really got a lot of money from the poor black folk, and he was sexualizing a lot of the poor black women. And these detectives did not like it, and they really gave it to him at the end. He was really a bad character, Reverend Deke O'Malley. So if you haven't seen that, go check out Cotton Comes to Harlem. My number 4, I'm going to go with the actress Monique. And Monique played the mother named Mary in the movie called Precious. Anybody who remembers the movie Precious will remember just how abusive of a mother this lady Mary was to her daughter Precious, teenage daughter, who was a high school student. She was so treacherous, so mean, so evil. They had one scene where Precious mouthed off to her and ran upstairs, and while she was running upstairs, her mama slung a skillet at her. A skillet! And hit her in her damn head with it and knocked her ass out. Also, she was so treacherous and so evil, being the actress Monique, that she ended up winning an Oscar for this role. Now, I will say, I was kind of torn because I'm looking at Monique, but she also had another movie down the line called Deliverance. She was awesome in it. She was killing people. If you never saw The Deliverance, go check it out. But I'm speaking about here the movie Precious. All right, my number 3, I'm going to go back to 1985 to a movie that was called The Last Dragon. If I got any Last Dragon fans out there, you know who I'm going to say. Julius Carey III played the character called Sho'nuff. And Sho'nuff was so over the top. He be saying stuff like "kiss my sneakers" and all kind of stuff. Even threw a teenage boy in the trash upside down. He was a bully to the utmost, but so entertaining. Sho'nuff was really not a good character to cheer for, and you couldn't wait to see when he got his butt kicked. So that was The Last Dragon. My number two, and I'm telling y'all, a lot of y'all don't know about this movie, so pay attention. This is the actor Morgan Freeman. And no, I'm not talking about Driving Miss Daisy. And no, I'm not talking about Bruce Almighty or none of that stuff. Morgan Freeman in a movie called Street Smart. Street Smart came out in 1987, and Morgan Freeman played a pimp called Fast Black. And Fast Black didn't take no smack off of nobody. And in this movie, the actor Christopher Reeve played a magazine reporter who was trying to get some type of expose or article about pimping of all things. So he connected with the pimp, Fast Black. But he didn't realize that Fast Black don't take nothing from nobody. One scene, the reporter ends up with a gun in his cheek because he said something that Fast Black didn't like. Another time, just remember this here so I don't do no spoiler. Just remember that in this movie, there's a scene called The Smack. You need to see the movie Street Smart just to see The Smack. Great movie. Morgan Freeman did his thing in that. My number one, and this movie really got my memory because there was a movie in 1982. The name of the movie is called Vice Squad. Wings Hauser is the actor, and he plays a character named Ramrod. Ramrod, once again, he's a pimp. They show him fold that coat hanger up and whip the women. They show him not scared of the police. They show him being just treacherous as all treacherous. The thing that I remember most about the movie Vice Squad, this is the first movie I ever saw on VHS at a home. I was at my sister's home at the time, and my sister's husband put the movie on. There was about 8 of us watching it, and I always remembered that from that being my first VHS movie. But that character, Ramrod, was really amazing. That was a great action movie, and that was a bad guy of all bad guys to me. So those are the 10 that I listed. Let me say, I'm sure that all of you out there probably have your version of bad guy, bad lady parts that's out there. So honorable mention wise, let me mention that I did not list in my top 10 Denzel Washington's Alonzo in Training Day. Not a big fan. It was okay to me, but the fact that this is what Denzel won an Oscar over, but he was the bad guy. My other honorable mention in this situation would be Tim Roth. Tim Roth played Dutch Schultz in the movie Hoodlum. And what I like most about his part in Hoodlum was he didn't give a damn. He didn't care if he was talking to the black people. He didn't care if he was talking to the Italian people. He didn't care if he was talking to anybody. This Dutch Schultz character, they was having a meeting with all of the top mob bosses. And he's in there smacking on the apple, just chewing, not caring. And then you turn around and say, look at Luciano, look at him and say, Dutch, are you done? And he just hands his apple to his right-hand man. He didn't. So that was a great part. I like how he played that. My number 3 in my honorable mention, I've got to give my love and respect to Al Pacino for the part he played in Scarface. I didn't put Scarface in my top 10 because at the same time, he wasn't just a bad guy. He was just a person just trying to make it. But I did not want to go without mentioning that he did a great job playing Scarface. My number four in one of my favorite movies is Kevin Spacey. And Kevin Spacey was in a movie called The Usual Suspect, and he played a character by the name of Verbal Kint. So, the fact that I won't do spoiler alerts in this here, just know that there's a character in the movie by the name of Kaiser Sose. Every time they say the name, Kaiser Sose, somebody just gets scared and shaken. It was such a great movie, and the twist at the end is one of the better of twists at the end movies that you can see. And last, as an honorable mention, I want to give shout out to the movie Spawn because John Leguizamo played a character called the Violator, who, for whatever reason, he can take any shape he wanted to, chose to dress as a fat clown. And I just loved it because even when I watched it, I know it was something special about the movie. And just to hear him keep on hollering to Spawn, the lead character, and instead of calling him Spawn, he kept saying Spawny. The way he would say his name was Spawny was awesome. So that is the list that I made of movies with bad people who stole the movie, be it a man or a woman. So if you think I forgot someone, overlooked someone, hit me up in the comments and tell me what you think. Other than that, with the list that I made, let's have it and hit me with some likes as well. Thank you for looking at this here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.